It's not only modern monetary theory. It was never a good idea. It was a stupid idea, and we're seeing living proof of that. You can't print forever and think you can get away with it. Look at what the pound's doing. But I think if there's a lesson to be learned here, it's the fact that central bankers in general and governments in particular have this unique relationship that we need to find a way to separate. And it isn't necessarily a political relationship, it's an enabling relationship. They are enablers. By these low interest rates and hanging out at zero for so long, they allowed governments to do anything. They allowed companies to remain that should have died. They ruined the entire infrastructure of global finance. And to think that it's going to come together easily, or if central banks have any plan, there is no way to put this Humpty Dumpty back together. There needs to be lots of financial destruction first, and from that, the Arizona will rise. The best fertilizer for the global economy right now is for all of these issues, whether it's foreign exchange, government debt, corporates, all of these financial instruments have to be pushed down to some level that represents true risk to value returns versus the pie in the sky valuations and returns that many were getting with virtually no risk.
True risk to value returns. Well, look at this from Michael Saylor. Since 8/10/2020, when MicroStrategy first adopted the Bitcoin standard, look at these metrics. Bitcoin's up 58% since then. Microsoft's 55%, Google's 33%, Apple's 33%, Oracle's 17%, and so forth. You see, as you get down, you look at the NASDAQ, gold, bonds, Amazon, and you see all these different companies. What's outpaced? What's number one? Bitcoin. And as you see, Bitcoin is the only thing in the world that isn't going to be debased and has a set amount, so no more can be printed. And as far as the Bitcoin algorithm goes, every 4 years it's going to be halved. And all these stocks that you would buy and invest into, why? They're all dollar denominated and dollars are being inflated away. Even though the dollar's strengthening right now, once the money printer gets turned back on, you guys know what time that is. All in all, have a long-term vision, a long-term conviction. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Bitcoin's outpaced everything. And with that, what's happening, crypto crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. Getting straight into it, looking at the total crypto market capitalization. How are we looking? What do we see? Well, one thing we want to see, we did come back down and kiss this almost perfectly on this pullback. As far as this previous all-time high, we came back and kissed this around the $755 billion level. But taking a look at the current pullback that we're in, we do see that we did peak out around that $3 trillion peak. This is the chart that we have to pay attention to right here, because right now this could be forming some type of wedge pattern, and Bitcoin could just, come back up. It could rally back up, hit its head again, and then come back down and double bottom out, come back down towards the apex, flip it, and then wait until, later on in 2023 to break out of this. This is not guaranteed. This is just a trend line that we're seeing right now, and the trend's your friend until the end. But could Bitcoin see some type of rally up to get past this? The next level we have to pay attention to is going to be anywhere within this range right here. So you'd be looking at anywhere around this $1 trillion threshold all the way up to the $1.4 trillion threshold. If we do blast up past that and the total crypto market capitalization flips this downwards resistance into support and then has a bounce off of that, definitely new highs for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency would be in store. But we have to wait until the Fed pivots. How long is it going to take for the Fed to pivot? Fed could keep printing out money, and this could look something like this. We could just trade sideways. We could come down and just test lower lows. Sometime, maybe early 2023, the Fed changes their stance before we come up, flip this in from resistance to support, and then have that blast off when the Fed turn the money printers back on. That could be what's in the cards for the total crypto market cap. And taking a look at an update from Moonshilla, Bitcoin bottoms and tops. Well, look at here. Every time in Bitcoin history, this previous resistance, we just showed you this, but it seems to get to that apex level before it blasts out and then makes a new run. Look at apex level, blast out. This apex level, we just showed you this in the previous chart. We could maybe ignore these wicks. We could pull this up a little bit, and where this apex level would be at would be around May of 2023, so we could just be seeing this sideways price action. That's what this is showing. We have some time before we sort of have that run up to the upside and then that ultimate blast off. And that'll be after the Bitcoin halving. But definitely like and retweet this. And we showed you this in the previous video. Wharton professor Jeremy Siegel says Jerome Powell is making one of the biggest policy mistakes in the Fed's 110-year history, and it could lead to a major recession. A lot of economists are saying a major global depression. Time will definitely tell this, but the Fed is going to have to loosen up their stance eventually, or something may break. An update from El Crypto Prof, and what he's showing is that every time we have some type of retracement back to that wave B, so as you see down here, we blasted up, and then Bitcoin had that ABC correction, and then from this corrective move, we always have some type of rally up to that wave B, which is around these levels, before having some type of resistance, and then another pullback before a blast off. Every time you see this ABC correction, B's right here, we have that run back up to that B leg before having another leg down. And then see this ABC correction? Well, the B leg is way up here at 69K. So could we make a major run and then have a cool off going into some point in 2023? This definitely could be in the cards, but it all makes sense. We'll take a closer look at this for you. But look at this. Here's an A, B, C corrective wave format. So look at this level here. We're going to draw a line straight across every single time. This doesn't fail. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you can differentiate it. Every single time when we have this low out, we come back up and try to test this before having a micro pullback and then a run up. Let's look at the next time we had an ABC correction. Right here we blasted off. We have an A, B, C correction. Well, let's draw our line again and pull it straight across. And after this C correction, we come back up, try to wick above it, don't make it, and then come back down before we ultimately have that new cycle peak. Well, look at here. We have our A, B, C correction. Well, what's going to be in the cards for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? If history is any indication of what we can anticipate, we could see the price action come back up here, and we could even make a new all-time high to where people will get extremely excited, maybe crack that 70 mark for a wick, but then we'll have that another pullback, and we'll lull out until that next halving cycle in 2024 before then having that macro blast up after the halving. So it looks like we are aligning up for this pretty closely. So keep this in mind, because if you just look back on the charts once again, this B leg pullback, we had a wick above it back in 2015 to 16, and then right here, this B leg pullback here, which was right around the 11.8 mark, we had that wick above it in the summer 2019 up to 13.8 before having that pullback. Well, look at this B leg here. This B leg was 69,000. So could we wick above this and have a 70 touch? And that's going to get a lot of people extremely bullish on this market and thinking that the new all-time high is going to come. But the Bitcoin halving is the most important date in crypto, because this dictates not only Bitcoin but the entire market. And there's a good chance we're not going to see a new peak, but we could, because people are going to be psyched out. What could end up happening is, if you look at this chart and you see that every time we come back up past this B leg, and this B leg every single time is, not typically, it wasn't a higher high from the all-time high. The all-time high is actually that B leg. So you could be having a lot of people saying that this time is different. We might get up to 70, maybe 80K. But then it'll be a wick above and it'll be unsustained, and it'll be a fake out, and we'll come back into this channel until after the next Bitcoin halving. I'm not saying that's how this is going to play out, but you definitely can't discount this, because this is definitely a viable thing that could happen, because every single time the new major cycle peak, not just a few thousand above the previous high, has happened after the Bitcoin halving. So this is the date you want to pay attention to. March 21st, 2024. And with that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. That's all I have for you today, and I'm out.